Before we continue, I just
Yeah.
need to know one thing, you guys.
What's that?
Where are both of you at on this whole lumbersexual craze that's going on right now? Because I really gotta know.
What? The what craze?
Lumbersexual that doesn't know?
No, I don't know what that is, but I want to know.
That just all right.
It's
Well,
I actually think I know what you're talking about. It's like basically it'll still look like a lumberjack.
It's the whole like masculine craze now where you like grow the biggest, bushiest beard that you can.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're like, you like wax it and oil your beard and you're like, yeah, it took me like 6 months to grow this beard. It saw a Secret Modest Mouse show and everything. Like it's this new kind of like, I don't know, hipster culture, but like super, I'm going to use air quotes here, manly.
Yeah, this came up in conversation recently. Someone told me that I should go for that look, and I was like, I can't tell if you're joking, because who would actually be attracted to that?
It's everywhere now.
Apparently,
I saw a guy with a waxed mustache the other day and this big ass bushy beard walking down the street, and I was just like, whoa, that guy thinks he's manly.
I mean, somebody must be banging him.
You would hope so. I mean, maybe that's why he's waxing the beard. Because in my general experience, the people who are getting the most regular action are the ones who are like, I don't even care anymore. Like, I go home and put on, like, a pair of ripped underwear that I've had for, like, 8 years. Because you just get comfortable, Yeah,
it's being confident in yourself. These guys have something to prove. It reeks of insecurity.
Leon? I want you to weigh in on lumbersexuality.
I must. Must I?
No, I want you to, but you don't have to.
So long as they're not hurting anyone, I'm fine with it. So long as they don't run around with axes and like cut people down, then
yeah,
I guess
it's not.
I guess it's fine.
It's not like crazy mass murder lumbersexual or anything like that. It's just
Do we need to have like a disclaimer?
Dude looks like he might cut down a tree.
Do we need a disclaimer at the beginning of episodes that like if we make fun of something, it's not because we hate it or think it's bad?
I'm kind of amazed actually that we are getting that so many people are taking us seriously.
Hello everyone, welcome to Word Funk. I am Leon Thomas. I am joined by Johnny Maloney and Austin Yorsky. We have had serious Skype issues for like 20 minutes now, but fuck it. We're just going to do this because that's what we do on Wednesday night, and then posted much, much later.
We posted much later.
Yeah. Okay. So, guys.
I want you to keep in mind that if this doesn't work, we could make this the flashback episode like they have in every, second season of the mediocre TV show where we just play old clips and be like, oh yeah, remember the time when...
Oh.
We need a framing device, though.
Yeah. We have to be like watching television and then it reminds us of something and then everything gets all squiggly.
If you like, I could hit myself in the head really hard, and then you guys could reminisce a little bit about the time that we've spent together.
Let's save that for the end.
All right.
Let's save all the injuries for the end. Okay, so...
Head trauma on hold.
Yes. So, earlier this week, there was a rumor, and although it has not been substantiated, like confirmed, it is interesting and it is worth talking about. A few weeks back, someone at Disney says, yeah, we're obviously going to make another Indiana Jones film. Why wouldn't we do that? It would be stupid not to. And from a monetary, standpoint, they are absolutely right. Since then, we've heard a rumor, and the rumor is that Chris Pratt of Guardians of the Galaxy and Parks and Recreation fame and the upcoming Jurassic World and all that is going to be the new Indiana Jones. Now, a while back, I made an episode of Renegade Cut about the fact that it would be hard to accept a new actor as Indiana Jones, unlike James Bond, because James Bond is basically perfect in every way. He's not humanized in any way. but Indiana Jones falls on his ass a lot. And
furthermore, I hear rumors that the new movie is going to be called Indiana Jones and the Era of Time when Chris Pratt wasn't in every movie ever.
Yeah, that's the other thing about this, and I might as well touch on it now. I like Chris Pratt a lot, and I'm really worried about the inevitable backlash against him for being successful because he's so talented and likable. It's a hard thing to hate someone just because they're so neat of a person that we want to see him in a lot of stuff, but that's gonna happen. I feel like he's just gonna. There's like a couple more huge franchises away. If he stars in Episode 8 of Star Wars, then it's pretty much over. Where everyone's just gonna turn on him for like really for no reason.
What if he's in Episode 8 of Star Wars as Star-Lord, seeing as how Disney owns Marvel and Lucasfilm now?
He certainly could. The universe would explode. But yeah, that could definitely happen. So
Austin, are you with me?
No, I was trying to think, like, I mean, he's a fun, charismatic dude. Do people really get bent out of shape that he's into many things? That seems like a really frivolous, like, thing to care about.
We should be happy that he's, like, the new Pauly Shore, because nothing bad ever happened to that guy in the popular mindset ever.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, Chris Pratt has already been in more good things than Pauly Shore did in his entire career.
Hey, are you saying bad things about Biodome, motherfucker?
I'm saying all the bad things. But yeah, I mean, but that's the weird thing. Even though we all like Chris Pratt now, eventually, if he's just in too many movies all at once, then there's this kind of exhaustion. I mean, people will still go to see his movies, but there'll be this kind of, and frankly, I'll just say it, this Twitter backlash against him, where we all kind of roll our eyes and go, ugh, Chris Pratt's in another huge franchise. I don't really have a problem with it, but I know the internet well enough to know that that's coming.
Hey, are you saying that Twitter is not a warm bastion of growth, caring, and love?
In fact, I am. It is. Yes. Twitter is full of hugs.
I don't really have a problem with that claim. Yeah. I just, I wanted to make sure it was definitively voiced.
Yeah. Yes. Twitter is not full of hugs and rainbows and teddy bears. It's full of the shortest thing we could say about something ever. That by its very nature, that's what it is. But yeah, I feel like as much as I would look here's the thing. In Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Harrison Ford was like 60-something.
He was getting too old for this shit.
He was. And there was a joke in there where he meets his son, played by Shia LaBeouf. And I know. And Shia LaBeouf said, as a joke, what are you, 80? What are you, 80 or something? And the humor was, of course, that he's not even close. If Harrison Ford signed on for Indiana Jones 5, he would be almost 80 by the time it comes out. That joke would not be a joke anymore. We would be seeing very nearly 80-year-old Harrison Ford do whip stuff. And we don't need to see that. And there's nothing against Harrison Ford.
I don't know. I might pay to see Harrison Ford do whip stuff in his 80s, but it wouldn't be in a theater that shows Indiana Jones movies.
So no, look. Harrison Ford is like the star of my movie fandom. If anyone could ever see the desktop wallpaper that I'm looking at right now on my computer, it's Indiana Jones, Han Solo, and Deckard from Blade Runner all at a bar together. That's what I'm looking at right now as I record this, because Harrison Ford is just in everything I love.
And, of course, the plane from Air Force One is just, like, outside in the parking lot, right?
Yes, of course. He's in everything that's ever been cool. And I love Harrison Ford. And I'd like to see him in some stuff. But there's a part of me that even though I can't even imagine another person as Indiana Jones, I still want another Indiana Jones movie, and I don't want him to be in it. And it's just, at some point, it's preposterous for you to be an 80-year-old action star.
It's okay to have conflicting interests in this, Leon. Yeah. I mean, a long time ago I learned that it's okay to be hesitantly optimistic about something, or when you hear news that they're remaking or adapting or creating a sequel or something like that, you can have the attitude, I'm okay with that as long as it's good. And there's nothing wrong with that. So there's nothing wrong with the idea of accepting an Indiana Jones movie starring Chris Pratt if it's a genuinely good Indiana Jones movie.
What's the other big casting news going on this week, Johnny Maloney?
The other big casting news this week is that they have confirmed well, I think they're in deep talks at this point in time. The cast for the new Ghostbusters movie, the all-female one. Ooh. Yeah. And that's so we've got Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon. So I guess it's kind of like it's going back to some roots here and tapping the Saturday Night Live sketch comedian crowd. Because as you might recall, if you're still listening to the call, that Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd were both Saturday Night Live alumni. In an age before time, long before you were born, when they didn't have the internet, and everybody had to learn movie times from an analog clock and a newspaper.
Yep. I know a lot of people wanted a direct sequel. Here's the thing. Bill Murray is unavailable, and Egon is really unavailable. So,
oh my God, Leon.
So it's not happening. Here's the thing. Remember in Ghostbusters 2 at the very beginning, Venkman joined a psychic show, and Egon decided to be a scientist for a change instead of whatever he was before. And basically, Ray and Zedmore were like party clowns pretending they were still Ghostbusters. That's what Ghostbusters 3 would be. It would be the two guys who are left pretending they're still Ghostbusters.
I just don't. Is there any more story to tell? I couldn't care less about a sequel.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's really not much else to tell. So in this case, I'm okay with a reboot. I know some people were upset because women, but here's the thing. First of all, why not? And second of all, I feel like if you just got like 4 lookalike guys to play the Ghostbusters, it would be too much of a retread. So they decided, well, we'll just do something completely different, and they did. My only concern is I don't care about Kristen Wiig. She's not that funny.
That was my only stipulation for this entire project. I was like, oh, all women Ghostbusters, awesome, just as long as Kristen Wiig isn't in it.
I don't have anything.
Failed me.
I don't have anything against her. I just don't think she's that great. I'm good with Melissa McCarthy. I don't know the other two though. When they said all female Ghostbusters, I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be like Amy Poehler and Maria Bamford and Amy Schumer and Melissa McCarthy and like Aisha Tyler. This is gonna be awesome.
I wanted Rashida Jones.
Okay.
I thought she would have made a great. I thought she would have made a great Ghostbuster.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, there were all these options, and I don't know half the cast, and I'm not crazy about Kristen Wiig. Again, I'm sure they're all pretty funny, but I feel like this could have been like the all-star woman cast, and you could have Tina Fey co-writing it or something. I feel like, I mean, who did they ask bigger female comedian stars, and they just said, no, I don't want to be that Ghostbusters shit, or were their asking prices too high? Because I feel like this was like the way you sell people on the all-female Ghostbusters, besides the fact that it's a new Ghostbusters, is you have like the biggest, funniest women in the world in this movie. And instead you have Melissa McCarthy, who's pretty funny, and Kristen Wiig, who's, she's all right. And two people we just don't know that well. I mean, they might be great. I'm not trying to bash them, but I feel like this is lacking a lot of star power when this is such a huge franchise.
Yeah, I'm gonna see it no matter what. Like that, I just think women reboot of Ghostbusters is interesting. So like, it's not a damper on like me as far as like seeing the movie, but I guess I'm a little disappointed. The thing about like everyone like. I haven't seen anyone actually be mad about all women casting, presumably because I only follow people who aren't awful. But the fact that people are mad was inevitable, and it's also so easily dismissed. That's just such a dumb thing to even be upset about. That it occupies zero mind share for me. Like, I can just completely ignore those people. It's great.
Yeah, and thing is,
it might be. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, Leon.
I was just gonna say, based on like how huge of a franchise that and how much of a blockbuster Ghostbusters was, and how popular the kids shows were. Do they think that like only guys watched it? I mean, people. I have seen people like show like tweets of dorks saying like, they did this to my childhood and stuff like women had childhoods too, so they watched Ghostbusters as well.
Go, Johnny.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say what you don't know, Leon, is that they came to my door today and took my Ghostbusters DVDs from me. Because they needed to make props for the new movie.
Oh, well,
so, yeah,
there you go.
I know. It's just like it's sad.
Yeah, it's not like Ghostbusters is like this pristine, pure product, because we all saw Ghostbusters 2, which was only okay. Some people have far worse feelings about it. I think it's just fine. And since then it's been like marketed to shit. I mean, there's like a billion Ghostbusters toys. This isn't the Bible. It's okay if things aren't canonical anymore. It's just there's just a new Ghostbusters. And here's the thing about reboots in general. We have to kind of accept the fact that reboots are just going to happen, and we can sort of impotently rail against it, or we can just sort of say, well, this is the way of things. Let's just hope it's good. I mean,
as far as the new cast goes, I feel a lot more open to the fact that I don't know half the cast, because that means I'm a little more open to being surprised by them.
Okay.
There's no, if you loaded it with names that I was completely familiar with, then I'd probably start to expect more of it. But the fact that they're like, oh, we're doing a Ghostbusters reboot, and you only recognize 50% of the cast, I'm like, okay. I hope you've got something up your sleeve, because I don't want to see a retelling of Ghostbusters, just with new faces on it. I don't want to see a remake. I want to see something new.
Yeah.
So being open to that is I think a pleasant side effect, at least.
Leon, you said that like remakes and reboots are inevitable, and I think that's true, and that's why, like, dovetailing off what Johnny said, I think we should see them as opportunities to do something new and interesting. Like, I think a lot of times just going off in a weird separate direction, like still staying faithful to the spirit of the thing, but that's way more interesting than just going through the motions again. It's just, I don't know, we've seen it with dudes. I don't know. That movie's still good. It holds up. There's no...
It does.
Yeah.
I think it's really great.
I would watch it again if not for the DVDs.
Ghostbusters, the great thing about Ghostbusters is, besides just how awesome it is, like in a general sense, that it's a bunch of comedians running around with proton packs, the best part about Ghostbusters is that almost every line is either a joke or a setup to a joke. There's no bland filler. It's just this part's funny and the next part's funny.
I'd love to see them lampoon all those, real tales of ghost seekers. Dark ghost hunter haunts house. Those things that you see on, reality TV, like the History Channel, because, yep, they belong there, and the Learning Channel, because, yep, they belong there, and the Outdoor Life Network, because why the fuck not? If the other two pass muster, that should too.
I feel like, yeah, they actually should update the format of the movie and actually address the fact. They should have a scene where they're watching the show, I think it's called Ghost Hunters, and they all kind of roll their eyes at some point. That would be a good way to update the concept, and also, I think it's pretty funny. They could also try to find Bigfoot, because there's at least 2 shows that do that now. There may be more. I haven't tried.
If the climax of the movie is them fighting the Loch Ness Monster, I'm going to be furious.
Oh my! And I think it actually could really be really cool. I heard on a podcast earlier that they were also going to cast a woman as the stand-in for Walter Peck. So that's neat. And maybe Roseanne could be Slimer. So I'm sorry.
Whoa.
It's just a completely huge slam on Roseanne from out of nowhere. I'm sorry. There was no call for that. I'm sorry.
I think
Go ahead.
I think the next time any movie is announced with a mostly male main cast, we should get on here and be really disgruntled about the stunt casting. So like every week then.
Yeah. Oh, I heard someone actually say something like, "What's next? Mean Girls with just dudes?" And I was like, "Yes, that would be so cool if there was just a movie called Assholes, and it's about 3 assholes from high school and one who didn't want to be an asshole but ended up being an asshole, but then turned around and wasn't an asshole at the end." I would watch the movie Assholes. It would be just like it, except it would be written by the male Tina Fey.
Also, kind of sounds like us every week, to be honest with you.
Also, it would be really hard to pirate that movie, because I imagine if you type that name into... Yeah, that would be very difficult to find on torrenting services.
Let me just plug that into my search engine
Oh my.
Top hits.
Okay. Anything more we want to say about that? So we can move on to the next thing.
No.
Get over it.
Yeah,
It's probably going to be okay.
Yeah, it'll probably be fine. At the very, here's the thing. I mean, if it's bad, then they just won't make another one, and people won't see it, and life will go on, and we won't care. And then if it's good, then it's good. The thing is, it's like a sequel or a reboot to something. As much as we think it's going to ruin the franchise or make the first one suck, watching the remake of RoboCop changes nothing about my feelings for the real RoboCop. It just kind of...
I actually forgot that the RoboCop remake came out. Thank you for reminding me.
It was just a really mediocre to bad action movie, and it changes nothing about the fact that RoboCop is awesome. And I know, I've fallen into this trap before, getting, sort of peeved at the prequels to Star Wars, but when I really just think about it, and it just doesn't matter because the original trilogy is still awesome and it always will be. And the fact that the prequels exist don't change the fact that the original trilogy was great. And if the new Ghostbusters sucks and bombs, then we'll all just shrug and say the first one was good, the second one was okay, and that's what we'll say. And like we always said, I don't know.
What have we always said?
We've always said that the first one was good and the second one was okay. That is what...
Okay, sorry. I thought you were talking about like what the three of us always said, if there was some like age-old maxim, and I was just to be like, don't put it in your mouth, like...
Yeah, people collectively say the first one was great, the second one was just okay. No one ever says anything else. No one says the first one sucked, but the second one, that's when they really hit their stride. No one says that.
Terminator?
I don't think they do. No, I mean, I'm talking about Ghostbusters specifically. I know that there are...
I don't know. I liked Terminator. I think I liked the first Terminator more than I liked the second one. I mean, the second one's more iconic, but...
I go back and forth.
Okay.
Alien. There.
I like Alien more than Aliens, but again,
They're so different. I feel like you can't even like compare them directly.
Yeah.
But people do constantly. Nothing you say will change that.
Yeah. Okay. So there's another thing that happened, and it's in a medium that we almost never talk about. So
I think probably because none of us know anything about it. So hang on a second while 3 mediocre white guys tell you exactly what to think. All right?
About the hottest pop music. No, I mean, this isn't even barely music related, I guess. Do you guys have opinions on the T-Swift?
Look, I don't have anything against Taylor Swift in the way that people kind of... There's like a huge contingent of people who just hate her for the fact that she constantly makes songs that are clearly about very specific people that we all know in the celebrity realm. But here's the thing. Musicians have been making You Broke My Heart songs since music was invented. The only difference now is we all know who she's talking about.
My favorite thing about Dante's Inferno is it's the most passive-aggressive asshole tract of him just bitching about people. Like, he's like, yeah, that guy was mean to me once. I put him in the 6th circle. Dick.
One of the things I remember about 90s music was when Alanis Morissette released her breakout hit. I don't even remember the name of the song, but it was like from Jagged Little Pill or whatever it was.
You ought to know.
You ought to know. Thank you. Yeah, I remember that it was a fascinating tidbit where everybody was like, "Did you know that You Ought to Know is actually a song about Friends actor Matthew Perry?"
And I
Like,
thought it was someone else, but okay.
Radio DJs were like all over that shit, and it was like, and now everybody's like, "Oh God, Taylor Swift won't stop talking about her exes. It's so annoying."
Yeah. She's a young woman who dates a lot of celebrities because she's super popular and kind of pretty. I don't like her music, but if I met her, I probably wouldn't hate her. 10 years younger than me. But
I'm sure she finds that incredibly relieving. Like, she's listening to this now, she's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, no, but in all seriousness, there's like a huge amount of hate for her, and maybe there are legitimate reasons, and maybe I don't follow celebrity news close enough to know all of them. But mostly I just find her to be, I don't like her music, and that's the extent of it. But she did something recently, as it relates to copyright, that is, at the very least, funny.
This is the part where we actually have insight about something involving Taylor Swift, because she, or I guess her people, presumably she has an entire team of people who handle these things for her. It's not her personally. Went and trademarked a bunch of phrases from her newest album, most notably "this sick beat," which is a thing I'm sure plenty of people have said before her. I don't know how she can claim to be responsible for that.
So wait, so we can't say "this sick beat"?
I don't think we're allowed to say "this sick beat."
Oh, so
I'm pretty sure we might be able to say "this sick beat."
Can they stop us from saying "this sick beat"?
I
don't know if we can title things "this sick beat."
Yeah, that would probably be wrong. So I'm definitely not going to title this episode "this sick beat" at all.
You can just put "this sick beat" in the description. And maybe the URL will say channelawesome.com /this sick beat.
Yeah, I might call this Wordfunk presents "this sick beat" and then a copyright thing on top of it that says totally owned by us. No, I'm not going to call this episode "this sick beat," except for when I make the banner that clearly say "this sick beat" that you're all looking at right now, unless you're listening to the MP3 copy of this episode that is definitely going to be called "this sick beat." But anyway, speaking of "this sick beat," Taylor Swift copyrighted it, and tough. There's almost no fucking thing you can do about it. It's like when Donald Trump copyrighted the term "you're fired." Vince McMahon was saying that shit next week on Raw. So it's like there's nothing you can do. People aren't going to stop saying "you're fired." There's very little you can do. There's like a little legal wrangling you can do to kind of make someone stop making a T-shirt that has Donald Trump's face on it saying "you're fired." But largely you can't do anything because it's just such a common phrase. It's like saying you can't say "the" anymore. No more definite articles.
That's almost certainly the point, is to stop merchandise with her lyrics on it. It's funny, there's the list here, I got it off Rolling Stone, of the things you're not allowed to put lyrics from her songs on. And some of it makes sense, guitar straps and stuff like that. But then it gets into some weird shit. The one that jumped out to me was whalebone.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I mean, I know what a whalebone is.
You'll notice that it doesn't say anything about whale teeth, though. So I am going to scrimshaw the shit out of a sperm whale tooth, so it says "this sick beat" all over it.
Yeah, that has to just be a boilerplate trademark form or something. It's don't put this on, and then there's just a huge preposterous list of stuff that...
Wait. How do you guys feel about a 1,000 count thread satin sheet that says "this slick sheet" on it?
What about here's another gem from the list of things you're not allowed to put "this sick beat" on.
Yeah.
Whips, harness and
Oh, my.
saddlery.
Okay. First of
Are
all,
you trying to tell me, Austin, that I am never going to get to see Harrison Ford in his 80s tapping a whip on in a movie that says this sick beat on it, because I don't want to live on that world.
I really wanted to be a fly on the wall in that meeting where there was like a bunch of lawyers and Taylor Swift in the room, and she's like blowing a gigantic bubble in a bubble gum, like barely paying attention, and then they're like saying, all right, well, obviously, you know, guitars, and then she says whalebone. Everyone looks at her like, what? What are you talking about? It's like whalebone, no sick wheat, no sick beats on my whalebone. And then everyone's like, all right, fine, Taylor Swift. You're paying us. Okay, well, right, no whale bones. Is there anything else? It's like, yeah, whips. No whips. I'm gonna get a line of whips. Just like, what? What are you talking about, Taylor Swift? What are you talking about? Just sign the form.
Whips and saddles!
I want an entire animated series starring Taylor Swift as voiced by Leon.
Oh my god, I'll bet you I know where the whalebone comes from. I'll bet you it's corsets.
No. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense, but I'm going to cut that out of the episode just so I sound funny.
Yeah. No, you absolutely. I recommend this. I condone this edit.
I'm kidding. But no, so yeah, Taylor Swift owns a lot of words now. I didn't think you could do that, but apparently you can. First of all, there's no song called This Sick Beat. It's just a line from one of her songs. It's like, you can't act... That's the thing that's strange to me. I mean, the title of her next album is 1989. I don't know if you can copyright a year. But I feel like, if you try to say, my album title and my titles of my songs, they're copyrighted because I wrote them. It's like, okay, but just random lyrics in the song, so long as they're strung together, you can claim that. I mean, if that were true, then I would write a song where I say every word in the English language and in every possible combination, and then just say, I own English now.
Yeah.
I feel bad for I'm kidding, I don't really feel bad. I mean, you're right, it's not gonna stick. There's, like, how could you possibly enforce it to, like, the nth degree required to maintain the trademark?
You know?
They're not even good lyrics. It's not even like it's some, like, insightful, weird, like, poetry, like some Bob Dylan shit. It's just
Well, you think in, like, 70 years, English professors aren't going to be like, and as the famous 21st century songstress poet T. Swift wrote, this sick beat.
I think we all remember what happened to Senator Swift that day when she took the oath of office. No, it's like... All right, look.
She went on a farm tour and was hit by a bale of hay. This quick wheat.
You asshole. I just want Leon to do all future podcasts in his Taylor Swift voice.
Okay, is there anything else we wanted to talk about before we go? Oh, I have one thing to say. I beat Just Cause 2. Before we go, I just want to talk about video games really quick. I beat Just Cause 2. The credits rolled. I apparently completed only 13% of the game, but I'm not going back. I've done enough. I saw the credits roll. I killed everyone that I needed to kill. The rest are just collateral damage that, you know, I don't care. And I've started playing Tales of Grace's F again, because the F part though, the expansion. So that's what I'm doing. Hopefully I will get through it faster than the main part. Before we go, do you guys want to talk about what games you've been playing? Because we went the whole episode without talking about video games, which is weird for us.
Well, there's also 20 minutes of just us fussing with Skype.
Right, so we have a little time left, even though it's past 10 now. So
yeah, is your show over, Leon?
No, it's over. I mean, the season ended. Spoiler: a lot of people died. American Horror Story is like, it's not good. It's really not. The first 2 seasons are not only shit, but they're filmed terribly. Like, it actually gave me a headache. Like, it was just really terribly put together. The 3rd and 4th season, they hit their stride, and everything just got super campy, and now I love it. It's not well written or well put together. It's just, you just sort of have to watch it to understand it. It's just nuts. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, video games. What have you been playing?
I mean, I haven't been playing anything new, but Johnny, if we have a moment talking about video games, do you want to talk about The Witcher 3 news?
I suppose we could talk about The Witcher 3 news.
What happened?
Because this hit like headlines like 5 minutes before we started recording, but apparently CD Projekt Red put 16 hours of sex scenes in The Witcher 3.
No. Let's clarify that. Not 16 hours of sex scenes. 16 hours of motion captured sex.
Yeah, so they could be much longer, but they might use canned animations for some of it, or some they might be sitting talking post-coitally.
Yeah.
So who knows?
16 hours of the dang nasty.
So wait a minute. So is it someone like when they're motion capturing this? Is it like? Hold on. Is it someone in a suit? Hold on. Let me get this out before I start cracking up. Is it someone in a suit like thrusting, and then they say, "Good, you fucked someone. Now put on the now get down and be the person who got fucked." Or are there 2 different motion capture artists, and are they in the same room at the same time, kind of going near each other's groins, but not actually?
Let's clarify this. In suits, covered in balls.
I feel like there needs to be pictures of this. That would be way more funnier than actually. I don't know. Look here. The thing is about video game sex scenes is they're never good. They're never ever good. I've had to participate in a video game sex scene in Heavy Rain, and I've seen a few others just in clips. They're never ever good. They're just awful. It's like. The thing is, video games, even games that look kind of real, like Heavy Rain, there's still that uncanny valley thing going on where I can't possibly, how do I put this? There basically looks like dolls fucking, and it's just really uncomfortable to watch. There's no definitive, wow, this is actually worth masturbating to video game sex scene. Is there, or am I wrong on that?
At least the bar is low. That means they can easily waltz into video games' best sex scene lists. Like, no effort, right? That's
they make an interesting point. The lead designer at one point in time says, well, it's an easy way to convey intimacy between 2 characters. Because otherwise what you've got is you have 2 characters where you're like, hey, you care about this person, and that just comes off as weird.
Well, yeah, it's like the Mario and Peach situation. Why do we give a fuck if Peach is kidnapped? We don't know her, but if you show her Mario banging first, it's like, yeah, you go get her, man. Right? That's essentially what they're saying.
Pretty much, yeah. So, I mean, it's interesting to see them do that as a tool. And while I do feel that, like, The Witcher
you said
1
tool.
had some... I do feel like The Witcher 1 was a really clumsy treatment of the subject matter. I think that The Witcher 2 actually did a reasonable job in more tastefully employing its sex.
We talked about this so much last week, but I mean, it's funny that you see the headline 16 hours of sex scene mocap data, and you're just like, well, that seems excessive. But
I wouldn't want to be that janitor.
But shit. Somebody's trying. A for effort. We'll see.
Wait a minute. If there's 16 hours of sex in this game, then, I mean, is this like a 100-hour-long game? Or is it like a 20-hour game and you're just mostly porking the whole time?
No, they promise it's going to be pretty damn big. They've already pushed it back twice because they wanted to make sure that it was in as good shape as possible. So
here's why it was pushed back. They were having way too much fun filming sex scenes with motion captures. They were like, "Oh wow, well we have 15 hours. Can we push this back just a little bit further so we can get just one more hour of sex scenes. And it's like, Johnson, I don't know what your problem is. We're not doing this anymore.
There's just the one really horny guy on the CD topic, right?
I need more sex scenes.
Oh, Johnson. So, all right, look. Any other video game stuff you want to talk about before we go?
Fuck ink ribbons.
What?
They recently re-released the remake of Resident Evil 1. That was hard to say. And they kept the ink ribbons in. Fuck ink ribbons.
Oh, okay.
Fuck them.
I don't know anything about Resident Evil, but I'll just assume this is completely necessary and warranted anger.
You can't save unless you have an item, and they're limited in number, which is it's just not good.
Okay. All right. So
They added a walk button to Dragon Age Inquisition on the PC.
Solely based on your feedback.
No, people had been complaining, but I do think it's kind of interesting that of all the problems that people were having with it, that they were like, yeah, okay, this is the focus.
So you're no longer like charging through walls like the Kool-Aid Man anymore.
Yeah, I'm not running into things like a guy who strapped rocket shoes to his feet and was like, all right, point yourself vaguely at the door. Launch!
Oh. All right.
So.
I should probably wrap up. Anything you guys want to say right before we go?
Yeah, I just want to give a shout-out to people who are suffering some pretty horrid weather on the East Coast. I hear that things are extremely cold over there. I want you guys to stay warm, so think about maybe like building a fire in an appropriate place so you can transfer this stick heat.